Hi guys, this is going to be a quick introductory video to me and my different hair colours and cuts that I've had over the years. So first up we have my natural hair colour in this extremely sexy photo of me when I was probably about 14 years old. I decided to change my hair later on and added a streak of pink into it because that was kind of the in thing at the time. As the scene style started to come around, I added more colours to my hair and got a blunt fringe cut in. I've had this same haircut now since I first got it done. I've never really gone back to having a side fringe. I continued to use bright colours in my hair up until I went to college. At this point I decided to just have a pretty plain kind of colour with blonde and black included into it. This hairstyle stayed around for a few months and then I made the awful decision to cut my fringe really short, as seen here. I don't know what I was thinking, and even the hairdresser tried to warn me against it. After that grew out, I decided to dye my hair red. This was a colour that I'd always end up coming back to. Once that began to fade, I decided to go ginger and pink. I was really fancying a change though. It was coming up to the winter and I didn't want bright hair anymore, so I went black. I flip-flopped back and forward between black and red before deciding that I wanted to go and try something completely new. So I got my first set of extensions and dyed them a fiery ombre. I still love this hair colour to this day and have gone back to it a couple of times. Before starting university I wanted to look normal, so I dyed my hair brown. This eventually led on to me dyeing my hair black again, as it was easier to maintain and much cheaper. I got some hair extensions and pretty much put these in every day. I really liked the looks, but once again I needed to do something different. And one day, much to the horror of my boyfriend at the time, I decided to shave the side of my head. I really liked this, and I remember you used to just touch it all the time. And then the black started to fade and I went to brown. I really did like this, and it was as close to my natural hair colour I'd been for ages, but I decided to go red this time. I used my old extensions but dyed them the whole way through, just leaving one chunk of yellow. I eventually got bored of putting hair extensions in the whole time and just left them out. I pretty much wore my hair red the whole summer and didn't change it at all. I did go on holiday that summer and my hair ended up fading out. It went to a kind of mousy brown, so I added some more colour on top and got some extensions that had highlights in. This was the most normal hair colour I'd had in a while and everyone really liked it, but I was getting bored. So I decided to add more copper tones. This was the start of my addiction to having ginger hair. I really love this colour and I felt like it was one of the ones I was most comfortable in, much like red. Red tones have always suited me, so I stuck with that for a little while. On one break back from uni, I got my friend to cut my hair. I dyed it black and had it in a really short bob style. This was really hard for me to manage because I have naturally really curly hair, so I decided to go back to my old way of extensions. I added blue to the bottom. This was the first time I had blue in my hair and I really liked it. Just before my birthday that year, I decided to dye my hair pink. But then I went on holiday to Florida and it faded out. I stuck a little bit of turquoise underneath the fringe and really faded the pink out to blonde. I then decided to go all over blue. This was a summer colour and I let it fade out over time. Eventually I managed to get it to a nice blonde. I didn't keep this blonde for very long. My hair was really damaged at this point, so I went and got it cut short. After all that damage was gone, I decided I wanted to go white. This created more damage, so I decided to go brown, and that's when I discovered synthetic dreadlocks. The first set I ever made was a mixture of pinks, browns, blues, all kinds of different things. I wore these back to back for about 3 months with a short break in between. I really love them, and I've made little braids with a feathery effect that I've never actually recreated in a set since. I got mixed reactions at university, but overall it was positive. I decided I wanted to make myself another set, but wasn't ready for the work. So I dyed my hair red and got some new extensions. I had this colour right up until the end of my second year at university and pretty much maintained an aubergine brown red all summer. After that, I decided it was time to make some more dreads. The new set was much chunkier and was made of reds, gingers and blondes. I dyed my hair black for a few months before letting it fade out to a nice dark brown. At this point I didn't want any more dreads as my hair had started to grow quite a bit. I mainly left it natural and straightened it rarely. Eventually I decided for another change. I wanted to go ginger. I tried different types of ginger from different brands and eventually found one that I really liked. It was the L'Oreal Ferrero and I decided to use it almost all the time. I ended up falling in love with this hair colour and kept it for almost a whole year. Eventually I wanted some new dreads back in my life, so I made myself a new set that were ginger and green. When I came back from uni, I decided to go back to hair extensions. Eventually I got bored of ginger hair and decided to dye it green. I started out with alpine green on top and apple green underneath. This eventually changed and I decided to do the opposite. I used tape in hair extensions and left them in for a couple of weeks at a time. I wanted to go back to dreadlocks, so I made myself a green set. This was the last twisted set I'd ever make. I put in my old set of green and ginger ones, but this time using the green as the main colour, and that was it for my twisted hair extensions. I made my first ever set of crocheted synthetic dreadlocks and I really loved the way they turned out. I thought they looked so natural and I really loved the colour of my hair at this point. That was my first and last set of crochet synthetics though, because then I discovered wool. My first set of wool dreadlocks were a mixture of red, ginger and a slight peach colour. These stayed in my hair for a few months and I was so happy with them. I decided I wanted to make myself another set, but I didn't want to be ginger anymore, so I made myself some brown ones. I was starting to lean towards a more natural look again, so I decided it was time to make myself some completely brown ones. I made them out of naturally brown wool roving and they looked really good. Everyone was convinced that they were real. I was about to start a new job, so I decided to make myself a new set of dreads and this is the colours I went for. As summer came to an end, I was craving red hair again, so I decided to go back to my red roots. I ended up recreating the fiery hair from when I was a teenager. This was probably one of my most popular sets I had made at the time. But as per usual, I got bored. I dyed my hair black and ended up making myself a number of different sets. I experimented with different types of wool during this time. I was starting to get bored of having curly dreads, so I wanted to experiment with crocheting wool ones. I ended up with this set, and I really fell in love. It wasn't the best attempt at crochet dreads, but I really liked the twists and braids that I had added in. And that finally leads us up to today's set. I hope you enjoyed my hair journey, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!